that you just happened to be here. I think there's a reason you're here. I think there's something that I'm going to say that is going to land so deeply for someone that you'll look back at this moment and go, that was the moment that shifted. And I don't say that lightly. I say that because I've experienced that numerous times in my life, where I just think sliding doors, if something had been different, if I hadn't done this, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have got there. But here's the thing, we always focus on this there, don't we? We always focus on where we're going. We always focus on, when I get there, then I'll feel like this. Hands up if that resonates to anyone. I'm just going to quickly gallery view so I can see all your faces. Yes, good. So this is one of those things that really makes sense. And sometimes you realize why the path you're on has been the path you're on. I'm going to go through the 5 pillars today, and this might be the first time you've heard this from me. This is my special system for creating sustainable, repeatable, glorious, easy money. And I don't say that lightly, because I don't think the job of being an entrepreneur is easy at all. However, making money is, when you follow this method. It's really simple. Aren't you glad you came? Aren't you glad you're here with me? This is something that I've learnt the hard way by doing it the hard way. I've learnt the old-fashioned models. I used to work in the city where if you weren't hustling, if you weren't busy to be busy, how are you? Oh, busy. It was a badge of honor to be busy. How are you? Oh, so busy. So busy. It was seen as that. They used to laugh at anyone that got up and left at 5:30. The shouts would ring out, part-timer! And it was the last coat on the back of the chair game. And I don't know if any of you have played that game where it's like, I can't go yet because they're still here. So I'll just do some more work. And you have to be seen to be hustling, right? I've come full circle. I now work approximately 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, coaching my beautiful clients, of whom there are some in this room. Welcome, lovely people. And so my work is play. My work is now ease and grace and flow. Why? Because I learned these 5 pillars, and I'm going to teach them to you today. And this is when it gets exciting. This is when it gets to be easy. Because when you learn these 5 pillars, you can apply them to any situation when you want to create something. Now, let's talk about creation very briefly, because this is one of the key things that people get wrong. I'm going to talk to you about that before I introduce the 5 pillars, because it's really important to understand what we're talking about here. When I talk about creation, I mean anything you want. I literally mean anything you want. That can be the relationship of your dreams. That can be the family life of your dreams. That can be the home that you want to live in. That can be the money per month that comes into you in passive income. So I've had a goal for building this business that it would one day replace my monthly salary from my day job in passive income. I hit that about a year, 2 years ago in passive income, where I don't have to do anything and that money's coming in. I hit that a year or a year and a half or 2 years, I don't even remember. And the moment that happened, I had created that because of a set of steps that I put in process along the way. So that's what I mean by creation. What I also mean is about why creation can seem so easy to some people. You almost see them think it and it happens, right? You see them imagine it and it pops out of thin air for them. I'm now one of those people, and I used to hate myself. I used to hate that, watching that happen to other people. I'd be like, how is she doing that? Now I've got it. It's really funny because it's so much simpler than you think. I literally am now a money magnet. Money flows to me and I can't stop it. I don't want to stop it because I've adjusted all my money stories so that they're in alignment with my goals. I'll say that again because this is really important. I have adjusted my money stories so that they now form complete alignment with my goals. What do I mean by alignment? Alignment is happening anyway. You are already in alignment. This gets mistaken a lot in this world of wealth creation. You must be in alignment. You must be in alignment. And people go, I am in alignment. No, you're in alignment to whatever results you're getting now. I'll say that again because this is really important. If you're aligned to here, you'll get here. If you're aligned to here, you'll get here. That's fine. If what you want is here, then you must align to here. Does that make sense? In a really basic level, if you are not in alignment with the goal you desire, you ain't getting it. Like, at all. And if you do get a sniff of it, if you get close to it, you will immediately self-sabotage to bring yourself back into alignment with what you actually believe. Why? Your beliefs drive your behaviors, which drive your communications. And I'll say that again, because this is really important. Your beliefs are what drive your behaviors, and that drives your communications with self and with the external world. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about how your beliefs are so important in this game of wealth creation. If you want more money in life, if you want to make more impact in life, if you want to attract things effortlessly towards you, there's certain things you have to do. You have to understand, where am I going? Where am I going? What does that look like? You've got to get blinding clarity on what that looks like. You've also got to understand, where am I now? That's the gap. That's the gap between where am I now and where do I want to be? Now, here's the thing. In that gap, without that thing that you want, it is very easy to attach erroneously to the belief that you therefore cannot have that thing that you want. Picture the scene. If I'd sat there for every month that I wasn't earning a passive income that was equating to my old day job salary, if I'd sat there every month and gone, you're just not good enough, must mean it's just not meant to be, stars aren't aligned, it's a full moon, that's why. If I'd been looking, and some of you are smiling, which makes me laugh, because you know what I'm talking about, don't you? You look for reasons to prove why it's not happening for you. You look for reasons to prove why somehow you've got this wrong. You look for reasons to reaffirm that belief that somehow you're not enough. I just want to get a read out of the room. I want you to just jump in the chat, and I want you to hit 1 in the chat if you resonate with that thing of somehow believing at a core level something of you isn't quite good enough. At any straight in there. I love this. 1, 1, 1. For those of you on Team Replay, that was about 0.32 of a second, and we've got a string of 1s coming in. No, we've got 1 no. So this is what happens, is somewhere along the line we forget that we are born perfect and nothing has changed. You are born unable to walk, unable to feed yourself, unable to clothe yourself, unable to do anything, and yet you are deserving of love in that moment. You are deserving of being held. You are deserving of someone raising you. We forget that. We forget that. We forget all the way through the 2 ridiculous beliefs. Penny's got this sussed. Number 1, we think we're not good enough. And fill in the blank. We're not strong enough. We're not qualified enough. We're not educated enough. We're not pretty enough. We're not rich enough. You fill in the blank for you. We're not tall enough. Some people have that as a belief. We're not big boobed enough. We're not thin enough. You can fill in that gap with whatever is your fundamental insecurity. And here's the thing. Here's what happens. We therefore go, and therefore I won't be loved. Those 2 get entangled in our brains, and our behaviors change accordingly. Why is this important? Because the reaction we have to that, the reaction we have to those very basic belief systems which are designed to keep us safe, and let's be clear, your brain is not designed to keep you happy. Let's be really clear about this. Your brain is designed to keep you alive. That's different, right? That is really different. And why is that important? Because we forget that. We wake up, and if we feel sad, and say we score ourselves out of 10, and I do this in my course Money Magnet, we do this every day for 3 weeks to start seeing our barometer internally. If you wake up and you score yourself out of 10, 10 being Tigger and 1 being Eeyore, and you come out depressed too, it is very easy to think you're doing something wrong. It is very easy to look at that and say, I'm not winning today. Newsflash, you're not supposed to be a 10 every day. I'd be unbearable if I was a 10 every day. I have to be a good solid 8 to come on here. I have to have deployed the beans on toast and plugged in the iPad. I actually also gave them a bag of money to count. This is a top tip. If anyone needs that in their life, top tip from me. Give them a bag of money. They love it. And tell them they can spend it on pick and mix afterwards. Winning at life. So to get myself to the 8, to serve you, to hold you as we go through this material, as I lead you through little switches and changes in your brain that I want you to make, I've got to be a certain level. But that doesn't mean I don't have days where I wake up a depressed too. That is not, the universe demands this duality. We can't just have sunshine and rainbows. The universe demands, we need to be allowed to be human. Good. Stuart saying he's loving this take on beliefs. Good. Love a Winnie the Pooh scale, Sophie. Yes, always Winnie the Pooh. So when we think about our belief systems, when we think about what we are in alignment to, when we think about what do I truly believe is going to happen for me in life, did I truly believe that I could replace my day job salary? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Do I now truly believe I can double that? Yeah, of course. Do you? Maybe not yet. Do you believe that where you are in your business right now is exactly where you're going to be this time next year? Or have you got a bigger belief for yourself? Do you know what you need to do to get there? I'm going to tell you. This is why we're here. So the reason I get really excited about this particular piece of material is this is one of those things that when I learned it, it changed the way I live my daily existence on this planet. It changed the way that I honor the days that I'm alive, because we forget how lucky we are to be alive. You were born perfect because you were born. You were born perfect because you're here listening to me now. You were born absolutely idyllic, absolutely properly supported by everything the universe has to offer. So don't you dare tell me the universe is against you. Don't you dare, because that is proven to be a lie just by you being right here. Can we all get on board with that? Jump in the chat. Give me a 2 in the chat. If we can all get on board with just this idea, the universe is for you because you're breathing and you're listening to me and you're seeing me here today as if by magic, just like magic. 2s are coming in. We've got a 1.7. I'm working on you, Sophie, working on you. So when we know that we are here, and that is such a gift, it changes the way we see everything. It becomes fun, right? This becomes a game. Stop making this harder than it needs to be. Stop making this out of your reach. The thing is, right now, I've got more faith in you than you have in you. The thing is that right now I can see the absolute godlike potential in all of you. How do I know that? Because I know what I've achieved. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. If I can do this, anyone can do this. If I can do this, if I can I got to 100K in 8 months flat in my first year of business. If I can do that, you can do it. I built to a £500,000 business in the next year. If I can do this, anyone can do this. Okay, so I know you might need to borrow my faith, put it on like a coat, wear it. Hear me saying to you, you can do this. But here's the thing. You've got to tell yourself too, and tell your face as well, please. Just send the message to yourself. You can do this. Just do that now. Just put your hand on your heart. Just give yourself a little moment where you just believe, just for a moment. Just believe that. In the absence of proof. That's the important bit. Why is that important? Because when we're in this gap, there is no proof. When we're in this gap between where we are now and where we want to be, there is no proof. There is just belief. There is faith without proof. But here's the thing. belief plus action plus removal of your old story equals money magnet. That's where we're going. So let me take you on a little journey through the 5 pillars. We're going to talk first of all about what manifestation actually is. And there is a lot of superstition around this. And I use this word very deliberately because superstition is the opposite of strategy. Superstition is belief without proof in something extrinsic to you. And there's a really clear distinction there. What I've been talking to you about up to now is internal, intrinsic motivation. That's called inspiration. Comes from the Latin word to inflame, to blow into. When we inflame, when we literally lit from within, you don't need a carrot and stick. You don't need to trick yourself. You are guiding you. You lead yourself there. You don't need me telling you what to do because you are literally lit from within. That inspiration is intrinsic motivation. Putting your faith in a lump of rock, if I hold this crystal in my hand, I'll manifest anything I ever want. That's called superstition. Saying, if I pray to the unicorn gods that I will somehow magically be worthy, that's called superstition. I see this a lot. I'm not against using tools, but you must know how you're using them. When I use these sort of things to rev me up a little bit more, it's still with the understanding that it comes from inside. I don't think if I wear a crystal in my bra, hopefully not this one, it's a bit big, but if I wear a crystal in my bra, suddenly magically I'm going to manifest 3 new top paying clients. I don't think that. But I do think there is resonance in crystalline form. Quartz crystal, the piezoelectric effect. That's how most of your watches are run, on the piezoelectric effect. Watches run on the fact that when you squish a piece of quartz, it creates electricity. I don't know if you knew that. Cool, huh? But the piezoelectric effect is a real effect. So therefore electricity in crystals does have a thing. Therefore you can't see. But down here underneath my desk, I've got 2 whacking great blocks of selenite. I rest my feet on those when I'm coaching my one-to-one clients. Why? It makes me feel grounded, but I don't have the superstition that if I don't do that, I'm somehow going to cock it all up. Are you hearing the difference? My belief is in me, not in what this can magically do, but I feel it helps me. It's a really subtle shift, but it's the difference between a lot of the snake oil salesmen you will be seeing on the market at the moment. And guess what? It's Black Friday this week. Watch out. Your newsfeed is about to get absolutely rammed with so many different offers. And some of them will be put a crystal in your bra types. And some of them will be pray to the unicorn god types. I'm here to tell you, these things can be helpful, but to manifest, it comes from within. So I want you to write down the word manifest. That's our first pillar. What else do we need? What else do we need? To understand manifestation, we've got to understand some steps along the way. I'm going to use Post-it notes. I like Post-it notes. You can see them. They're on my wall. So we've got what we know. We've got what we know is going to happen. I know my kids are probably going to moan at each other a bit more today. I know there's going to be a fight at some stage over whose iPad is whose. I know there's going to be, by the time I get down, let's be honest, probably some beans on toast have got spilt that require some clearing up. These are the field of the predictable and the probable events that are going to happen in life, right? But there is also the fact that I went to a conference last week and I've written, as a result of meeting certain people, probably about 20K's worth of business. That's now a normal for me. That's also now predictable and probable, right? There's also, I've got an offer that 30 people have bought without knowing anything about it. How cool is that? So I know I've got 30 amazing new clients that have trusted me and my brand enough to buy an offer. It's just been billed as a mystery offer. You might have seen it on the internet. And it's just a mystery offer and it just says mystery offer. And they've trusted me enough. So I know I've got 30 people who trust me enough to come and play with me for the next 3 weeks. I'll tell you more about that at the end if you're interested. It's still running. But that's in the field of the probable. Now, here's the thing. A couple of years ago, that wouldn't have been in field number 1. So I want you to picture in your head, as you can hear from my ridiculous accent, I'm British. I live in England. I can look out the field. I've got fields of sheep, hedges. So you know the predictable English countryside, right? If you walk on a footpath, you tend to go over these little wooden things called stiles. You climb into a field. There's usually a hedge around the edge and a fence. It's very safe in field number 1. That's the field of what we know. Now, this is where it gets exciting. Outside the field of what you know, for you, because your field is different. You might not have a sticker that says I've got 30 new clients this week. You might not have a sticker that says I've just billed 20k. That's fine. Your field, that might still be here, field number 2. That might still be in the, yes, that's possible for me, but it hasn't happened yet. Does that make sense so far? Everyone clear on that? So we've got the field of what is real to you and the field of what could be real. It just hasn't arrived yet. So we've still got that gap we talked about. Now, here's the trick. If you're brave enough to climb into that field, there's another field at the end. That is the field of pure creation. Anything could happen up there. Anything that you want. There are unicorns, there's Ferris wheels, there's trees made of chocolate in my field. Anything can happen in this, but it's not yet likely or expected. Now, I just need to get a readout from the room. Just check in with me. Just give me a little 3 in the chat if that makes sense so far, this step-by-step idea of how far out into the universe we go in our creation journey. Oh, brilliant. You guys are quick. Look at you go. This is good. Some people take a while to get this, and this is like doing a board game for the first time. It takes a couple goes round before you know it, before you go, I understand that. That's in my heart now. Good. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. So what I've got in my probable and predictable, I can manifest that effortlessly, right? Including the spilt baked beans. Just by walking out the room, I can manifest that one. That is creation in a very pure form that I can do without any help. Now, here's the trick. And this is why I've always got a coach. I need a little help with my belief system for these things. I need a lot more help with my belief system for these things. Make sense? So those of you that said 1.7 and somebody else said, I'm just going to scroll back and get the name. Somebody else says, Joy said, I'm having a hard time with that idea. And that is normal. You are normal. You are still perfect. Schrodinger's beans, says Stuart. Yes, true. So when I'm as soon as I go out, I'll know which one it is, Stuart. Until then, they could be anywhere. TV, walls, mouths, who knows? But when we talk about this jump from field number 1 to field number 2, so let me give you some examples. Let me make this real for you using my brain. So field number 2 for me, here's what's possible for me coming up this year. I could possibly launch my Beautiful Calls Flow and my Beautiful Calls Trinity, which are in January, and completely sell out in the first day. I've never done that before in one day. I've done it in 5. I've not done it in 1. That's really exciting. I could also launch, I've got a beautiful retreat happening in Hawaii. It's a virtual retreat. You can all come to that in January, called the Resolution Reboot, which is going to also sell out. Let's make that in the field of possibility. And I could also fill my spaces. So I've currently got 1 space for December, and I've got, I think, 3 spaces for January one-to-one work. I'm not cheap. I'm an investment of 15k to work one-to-one with you. So I'm not cheap, but I'm bloody good. So I'm going to attract those beautiful clients towards me, and I'm going to have all 3 of those signed up before Christmas. Those are all possibles. Now, to move those into the probability and the predictable is the game of manifestation, right? What do I need to do for that? Your second pillar. Your second pillar. Ownership of your old story. Ownership of your old story. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? You have to own your belief systems. You cannot be surprised when they poke you in the face. Let's just test this. Let's just do a real live out loud. Right. I want you to say your next money goal out loud as if it's already happened. And we're just going to test your body response to it. So my next money goal is 50k a month. So I'm going to say out loud, I am achieving 50k months. What reaction do I get in my body for that? I want you just to try that. Say your money goal out loud now to yourself. Just feel into it. You might want to put just fingertips on your sternum, on your breastbone, and just feel into it. Notice where you feel resistance in your body. I'll tell you why. Because I just deliberately set you up to feel something by using the words I am. I made it true already and it isn't. Now we're going to twist that dial very slightly. I want you to say it in a way that means it could be true. So imagine you're breaking into the museum and you're stepping over all those tripwires and those laser beams without setting off the alarm system, because you've got a BS alarm in your head. It goes off when you say something that's not true. Whew, whew, whew. As soon as you say the words, I am something, and it's not true, and you can't believe it to be true, you've just tripped the wire. So rephrase that I am into something that could be true. So I'll show you my example. So instead of I am earning 50k months, let's feel, instantly, I've changed my neurology there. I am on the way to my first 50k month. Popcorn, champagne, sparkles, fizzing in my tummy. I get an excitement that buzzes through my fingertips. My body enlivens rather than depresses with that statement. It's a completely different neurology. How did I do that? I changed the words. I can believe that to be true. I've just moved it from possible to probable. I've just moved it into being more likely to happen. Actually, I'm going to put a sticker up. Hold on. Yes, I'm on the way. There we go. And that gives my body energy. That energizes me rather than draining me. You cannot lie to yourself. So the ownership of your old story is twinned with pillar number 3. So I want you to write down pillar number 3 for me, which is new story creation. New story creation. Now, why is that important? Well, hopefully you just saw that in real time. The first statement I said depressed the hell out of me because it wasn't true, and I know that. And I'm an authentic person. I never lie. I genuinely never lie. I don't say things. Things don't come out of my mouth unless they're true. I made that decision years ago. And so whenever I do say something that's not true, instant conflict with my value set, instant friction in my body, instant disruption of my neurobiochemistry. This is science. This is known. What have I got with me? Oh, yeah. So here's a really interesting book. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. If you haven't read it, go and get it, read it, you'll thank me. And what Joe Dispenza did was a study on how your autonomic nervous system transforms when you think different thoughts. And guess what? What's fascinating is also I can transform your nervous system with my thoughts. What do I mean by that? That's a bit nuts, right? We're coming on to pillar number 4. Pillar number 4 is energetics, energy. What do I mean by that? Your nervous system is currently calibrating to mine. Even across Zoom, even though we're not in the same room, your nervous system is dialing up because you're borrowing my faith in you. You're borrowing my energy. Until you form your own. Whilst you're in that gap, you can attach to somebody else's and it can have as dramatic effect on yours. Isn't that fascinating? Why does this work? Because of the mirror neuron network in your brain. We've advanced as a species so bloody quickly because of this dopaminergic mirror neuron network. We have an ability. So when 2 monkeys are sitting next to each other and one monkey's eating a banana, the other monkey shows to fire up exactly the same neurology as the banana eating monkey. How nuts is that? So you're learning from my learning. That's how this works. And you're activating different chemicals so long as one thing happens. I'm going to show you a quick slide. Oh, Duncan, give me a screen share. Or Rob, I think Rob's here too. But when we know how to do this for ourselves, thank you, we can actually choose to do this. on purpose. So when we want, no, Rob, it's still not working. Poke it for me, poke it. When we want to choose to switch chemistry, if we know what we're doing, this is what Tame Your Brain is all about, right? If we know what we're doing, we can jump into other ways of thinking that are energetically more in alignment with what we want to do. How nuts is that? So why is the news story so important to build this energy? Again, hopefully you saw it. Hopefully you saw it change my state. I don't ever teach time management. I teach energy management. Because if you are drained by your mission in life, you will never achieve it. If you are depressed by your mission in life, you will never achieve it. If you've aligned to a mission that's taken you off over here and you really want to be over here, it's not going to feel good while you're doing it. So the management of your energy is your primary responsibility. Why does this matter so much? Because as an entrepreneur, as someone that is putting yourself out there, you are responsible for you. It's literally you versus time. That's it. That's it. In a nutshell, it is getting your brain to be your best friend, not your worst enemy. It is getting your brain to work with you, not against you, that is the everlasting game here. And when we get to make that fun, when we get to make this really exciting, then guess what? Your energy goes through the roof. And when we talk about energetics, we're talking about our ability to change nervous systems. Let's be blunt about this. So Dispenza did an experiment where he had people sitting at the front of the room wearing heart rate monitors, seeing what their heart pattern was doing. He then had 700 people, 700 students sit behind them. And when they tuned into the higher frequencies, and that's joy, love, gratitude, when they tuned in and were able to hold that sustainably, he then asked them to put that out towards the people with nothing but the greatest good in mind. In that instant, the heart rates went into complete coherence from the people sitting in front in about 50% of the audience. How nuts is that? So they were able to change the heart coherence of 50% of that cohort just with thought. Now, you may believe that, you may not. That's entirely up to you. That's perfect either way. But I'm a scientist. I like data. I go through data religiously to work out what my belief systems are going to be. I only use scientifically proven methods, and this holds up. This idea of nervous system alignment is really interesting. And when we look at what we can do when we can change our autonomic nervous system. So just to be clear, we've got two systems running, sympathetic, parasympathetic. I'll show you. Now, I believe my beautiful assistant has enabled a screen share for me. So this should come up on your screen now. So when we talk about what is important and when we talk about what matters in the brain, what usually matters in its very most basic sense is how we deal with stress. So let me just be really clear. We've got two sides to the brain. So if you imagine this side on the red, I hope you can see my mouse whizzing around. This side with the red is all about the stress. So that's what we call our sympathetic nervous system. When we go into stress, when we're out of alignment, when we feel spiky, when we don't feel happy, when we feel fight or flight, you know, that horrible feeling where your heart's pounding and you can't catch your breath and, oh, it's all just too much. That is cortisol. That is adrenaline. The opposite of that happens if we're using the more adapted brain, the more grown-up brain. Connection, pleasure, calm are the things we get to feel when our endorphins are running. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the love drug as they call it. GABA, serotonin. These make you feel brilliant. And dopamine, our reward system. That means when you achieve something, you're pinging off the walls because you've just got a massive hit from your brain. Your brain loves that. Why does this matter? Why is this important? Because the prefrontal cortex can only work if you trust yourself. If you are in high trust, the prefrontal cortex is allowed to work. As soon as there is threat, This is what happens. Your primitive brain kicks in. Bang! You don't get a second to think about it and make a decision. Why? Because if it was a saber-toothed tiger, you would already be dead. So when we're defending ourselves from a cat that might eat your face, it's a very different thing than an angry client, a missed target, a low financial month, global recession, and a ridiculous government that's just crashed our economy. Those are all threats right now, right? But unfortunately, our wiring is the same. Our wiring is the same. You run the same saber-toothed tiger defense mechanisms instantly in a heartbeat, whether you're reading an article in The Guardian or whether you're actually fighting a cat with a big stick. So what does that mean? It means the blood flow shuts down in your prefrontal cortex. Your neocortex becomes disabled because it's too busy pushing all the blood flow to the places which matter for face-eating cats. That means your calf muscles get really tight so you can run away. That means your biceps surge so you can punch it in the face. Your stomach shuts down because there's no point digesting food if you're about to die. Your vision narrows to a really precise depth of field, tunnel vision, so that you can see if it leaps at you. These are all really great for a saber-toothed tiger, not so great when running a business. Your job as an entrepreneur is to know these things and control them. So when we talk about energetics and we talk about energy, we're also talking about electricity in the brain. So pillar 4 has actually got 2 ways we need to think about manifestation. If we're not in control of this, it will be in control of you. Fact. Fact. Absolute fact. So what are we talking about? We're talking about how we manage the space between our ears and the whole delivery system that we've got in our fingers, to our keyboard, to our communications with everybody else. When we think about things like the nervous system, things like energetics, what are we talking about? I'm going to give you pillar number 5, and then I'm going to invite you to join me on my mystery offer. I'm going to say a little bit about it after this. I'm going to give you more information than everyone else. You're getting in early. This is really exciting because pillar number 5 is nothing other than you, obviously. Pillar number 5 is not about the bright, shiny things that are out there in the market. A lot of people will tell you that only if you do this course can you do this thing. I bring it right back to center. Only if you do you can you do this thing. It's you. It's always you. It's never been about the money. It's always been you. Sorry about that. Whatever you have or haven't achieved in life, you have created. Whatever you have or haven't achieved in life, you have created. Want to create something better? Let me help you. Because that's what I do. I'm the closure of the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. I help people step through that. I was lucky enough to be at a conference last week in London Excel Centre, one of the biggest venues in Europe. And there's an annual conference there, and I'm a speaker on stage, and I talk about how to deliver behaviour change both to big organisations and to small. I was there speaking up for EDI, equality and diversity, and LGBT and chronic illness sufferers on this particular stage. And I'm really passionate about serving in that way of helping people use their voice more effectively. But one of the really fascinating things was that as I went around this exhibition, I couldn't walk more than about 10 feet because people were coming up to me left, right and centre. And they all know me because I'm very visible in this platform. I've never met some of them before. So people were coming up to me like, "Hi, it's you." And I was like, it is. And it really brought it home to me, this thing of like, what is this you? The you that people, they think they know me because they've seen me enough like this. It's you. It's you. And I was in the process of creating these 5 pillars. And if you notice, you might notice already, it's a bit clever because those 5 pillars spell out the word money. They spell out the formula to get you to more money. Whatever it is you think you want, it's usually attached to money. If you want freedom, it's because money is needed to get you to that. For me, freedom is my highest value. I want to go where I want, when I want, work when I like, play with whom I like, and visit wherever I like. That takes money, right? Money is a tool. Money is a tool. We only want money because of how we think we feel when we get there. We only want money because of how we think we'll feel when we get there. So guess what? I've created a container for this. I'm telling you top secret news that I'm only going to reveal tonight to everybody else. This is my mystery offer that's running on the internet at the moment. You can currently, for an absolute bloody bargain, get into a course that is worth $2,222. It's called Money Magnet. And we start on the 30th of November. This course is worth $2,000. At the moment, today, the price is currently just 444 quid. It is a full 3 weeks working with me, going through these 5 pillars in depth. There is an hour's material on each of these pillars, and then we have a Q&A at the end to tie it all up. There are also exercises every day for 3 weeks. It is my most beautiful, activating course. The people that have signed up to it already, we've got 31 signed up. The people that have signed up already have signed up with no other information other than me saying I'm running a mystery offer, but they've trusted my brand enough to jump in. You're lucky. I've just told you the 5 pillars. So you know what you will be coming in for. This is about changing your mind so that you can change your life and therefore change your income. The income comes last. It's be, do, have in that order. The being who you are when you do something is actually more important than what you do. All strategies work eventually. All strategies work eventually. You can buy a strategy from a book. You can't buy you from a book. It's in here. If we can change your mind, we literally can change your life, and we therefore get to change your income as well. We get to move you from the field of just what's probable into what's possible. And then when you get really good at this, guess what I've got in my potential field, in my pure creation? I can tell you, there's a swimming pool in there. And I'm literally purchasing a house which will bring me up to $1 million in property assets on the 14th of December, and that's going to get completely rebuilt. So it's got another story on it, and it's going to have the swimming pool outside. Those are in my field of potentiality. I'm bringing them into my field of possibility by moving. As soon as I move, they come into this field. Then I work to bring them into my predictable. That's how this works. So if you want something, it doesn't have to be a swimming pool. What's hilarious is my partner in life, who actually is really quite funny because he's not an outdoorsy guy at all. His thing is one day I'll have a ride on lawnmower. And I've moved that into firstly that, okay, now it's actually going to be possible, and I've made it a probable. That's actually going to happen now. So you can be whatever you like. It doesn't have to be a ridiculously large money goal. Some of my clients are 8-figure entrepreneurs. Let me just make this clear. I work with some who are at the absolute peak performance end of the market that are turning property deals that are around the sort of 20 million, 25 million mark. I also work with complete startups, but my common is when you've sort of got above the 10K months and you're beginning to motor, but I can help you get there quicker if you're not there yet. So Money Magnet is about to start. What do you get for this? You get to dive deep into each of these modules to figure out what you need to do next. So we start with this beast manifestation. What is it that you're not quite lined up with? Where are you out of alignment? What is it that's holding you back? And we lead straight from that into, let's dive deep into those limiting beliefs. We've all got them. We have all got them. I remember the first time I turned over, it was 11K on my first 5-figure month. And I remember emailing my coach and going, holy crap, this actually works. I'd had the faith in myself to do it, but it took until I got to the point of proof where I went, it does work. It really does. And I emailed him my figure sheet and I went, look. And he was like, I know, because he'd had enough faith in me. So you need to borrow my belief until that faith grows and your business starts to do what it needs to do. And as we get to that ownership of your story, that will happen more and more easily. So then we move to building your new story. Now, what I actually do, an interesting little how, I'll just tell you this. We do something called a closed eye process. This is where Duncan's appreciative of Rob's goal. This is where we get you to sit back down. We get you out of your own way. We get your conscious brain to sit back down. we talk directly to your subconscious. It's not hypnosis. It's about the wiring and firing of your brains, which I know how to do because I did a degree in it. So there are lots of people on the internet that claim to be able to do things like reprogram your DNA. I've read some brilliant claims in this last year. Very few of them will have studied that science. I actually have, because I'm finicky like that, and I like to know the data behind everything. I like to know how things work. So my closed eye process is legendary. You come out of that feeling like you've just had like a really deep sleep. It lasts for like 20 to 40 minutes. It's not a long process, but the power of it, the people that have been through this with me come out and they say things like, oh my God, I didn't realize. But we can ferret out those wirings that are entangled with emotion, that keep tripping you up, that keep bringing you back to your set point. It moves you out of the path that you're on now into a completely new trajectory. So that is worth the money in itself, bluntly. So to work for an hour with me is usually about $750. So the price that you're paying for this mystery offer, if you get in quick, you got to get in before midnight. It does go up tomorrow. So those of you watching on Team Replay, sorry, if you're hearing this tomorrow, for Black Friday, it will be $555, because I do the opposite to everyone else. I actually put my price up throughout Black Friday week just because I like to play games. So this is a offer for you today at $444. If you're hearing me tomorrow, it will be $555. And then it will go up to its full price of $2,222. So don't wait, is my point. If you're keen on this, go and have a look now. So why does this work? It's very exciting to me to say to you, it does work, because here's the thing. 95% of your decisions that you make directly come from your subconscious brain. I'll say that again, because this is really cool. 95% of every decision your body makes in a day about where you're going and what you're doing and how you're communicating are fed directly from subconscious brain. Why? Again, we don't have time to think when we've got massive threat in front of us. So our brain has built in this short circuit. It's got a big data bank at the back in your parietal complex, which is like human Google. So this is where our belief systems hide. We never see them, but it's like software running behind your eyes. And so that bit at the back of your brain is actually controlling everything that you do. So unless you have a little chat with it and go, excuse me, I don't want to believe that anymore, that will keep running your behaviors. So that's why the old story and the new story must be rolled up together before we start talking about the energetics and then powering you through to the next step. So I'll just show you that slide one more time. Where have I hidden it? There. There are loads of testimonials. People that have done this course with me have raved about it. We did it for the first time this time last year. We've since run it again. The money results that people have got from this are huge. We start on the 30th of November. We get an hour deep diving. I'll then give you some homework to go away and practice for a couple of days. I then pull you back in on the Sunday the 2nd, and then again on the 4th. And then we've got a gap until the 7th, and then a gap to the 11th. And then you've got a whole week to go and practice everything before we then do it. And the Q&A at the end is completely free. You get 5 hours of content, and then you get to come on like this with me, but we fire questions back and forth, and we'll cover off anything that's come up for you. The results for this can be huge if you're ready to go all in. If you're ready to set yourself up, there are 37 days left of this year. There are 37 days left. That is it. Then it's 2023. So what are you going to do differently for 2023? How are you going to get yourself to achieve these things and these things? Not just field number 1, but field number 2 and field number 3. How are you going to get yourself to that point? Yes, you can probably do it without me. It will just take you longer because I'm a couple of steps ahead of you. I've got some methodology that I can apply with you that just catapults you forward. So we take you out of the zone that you're in now and what you're capable of just now with just you, and we calibrate you to a nervous system that has got this already ingrained and running in software, which means you'll be faster plugging that module in and doing it for yourself. So jump in, click the link. I think Duncan's very kindly been hitting links in the chat. Well done. And we've got 2 communities for you to join as well. There's my sisterhood group on Facebook. We run the Sisterhood for Alpha Entrepreneurs, soon to be undergoing a bit of a rebrand. So come and dive in there before we do. We've also got the Genius U Mentor Circle. Duncan's doing the bit that I always forget. Please leave me a review. There's a massive competition amongst the mentors. I'm never in it because I always forget that bit. But if this has excited you, if this has like fired you up, if this has given you stuff where you go, oh my God, could that be? Could that actually happen? And I'm going to tell you one little story. before we go, which is what I use to sort of demonstrate exactly how this works. And this is something which I'm really passionate about because it's something which I didn't know I could do. So I've just told you I'm science. I've got a degree in something. The thing is, I left school with nothing. I left school with absolutely nothing. So I left when my dad got a head injury, and he went from being a very highly paid, very erudite, very urbane and sophisticated head teacher to suddenly being unable to read and write, and he couldn't tie his shoelaces, and he became very violent towards the family. So my school life as a result, as you can imagine, as I was just starting sixth form, became so much less important than just survival. So I left school altogether with nothing other than a couple of B grade GCSEs. That was it. And so my belief in myself was that I'm not academic. I can't do anything academic. So when years later I realized that I was getting stressed with my city job, and when I realized that I didn't actually want to be there anymore, and I looked at what I did want to do, and the answer kept coming back, I wanted to go and get a degree. I wanted to go and qualify in something. And so I had this moment where I was writing my application for said degree, and I was writing it as if it was already true, writing it as if I believed it, writing it as if I could do this thing. Because by then I'd learned from Tony Robbins, from at the time it was Bob Proctor, it was T. Harv Eker, it was people like Dennis Waitley, people that were really leading the field, Abraham Hicks. There's a whole list of books. I think Rob's just kindly dropped that link in there that formed my life up to be that change in my belief systems. And as I was believing suddenly something different, that, okay, maybe I could be academic, maybe I could apply. And guess which uni I was applying to? Bloody Cambridge University, which is like, for those of you not in the UK, that's one of the premier organisations in the UK. And it's really hard to get into, but I sort of had this moment where I just went, if any of this is true, then all of this is true. If any of this is true, then all of this is true. And at that moment, the flash went off. And it captured that moment, that light, that energy in my eyes. I think I've still got it somewhere around here. Yeah, I'm going to show you because this is quite cute. I'm just going to lean down. It's fallen down on the floor due to the Schrodinger's children always wrecking everything. Obviously, they had to sit at my desk earlier. So this is my university card when I got into Cambridge Uni, and you can see that little look in my eyes was just like, what is this? Is this actually going to happen? And there's my little ID card, which proves if any of this is true, all of this is true for you. Not just for me, but for you, because that's actually who this is about. That's who this is about. Yay, Kathy's bought a place. Well done, Kathy. This is what this is about. This proof of what you can do. Borrow mine. Borrow mine while you build your own faith. Come on, Money Magnet. I will help you build yours. We run for 3 weeks. It is a beautiful container, and it takes you up to Christmas. You'll be finished by the 21st, I believe, 20th, something like that. We will wrap everything together to make sure that you've got everything you need to go and be amazing. Because this is now. This is happening now. And there is only now. Because when you get there, it will feel like now. So how you feel in yourself as you start next year is really, really powerful. So if any of this is true, all of this is true for you too. So thank you for coming to play. I've had a brilliant time. I hope you have too. We'll be back in a month. But in the meantime, jump in quick before the price goes up. I'm willing to take questions. I believe I've missed one, haven't I? What did I miss? Heart coherence. Was that what I saw? Let me go back. In the heartbeats line. So Penny, heart coherence. This is about, so there's an institute called Heart Math that I'd urge you to go and look up. This is all about when we use electroencephalography. So we put the wires on people's head, and we can see what changes in terms of the different frequencies that play out in both the brain and the heart. There's something called heart rate variability as well that's also worth looking up. And this is about the ability of your vagus nerve. So with these sessions, I don't ever have enough time to go into these pieces in depth. That's what my courses are for. So we talk about heart rate variability. We talk about coherence, much more in depth in there. But there is a brilliant book again on that, which I love. The Body Keeps the Score, which is about how the body deals with what happens in the mind. And there's so much to be said on the subject that I won't do it justice if I try and pot it down into the 3 minutes I've got remaining. So click on the link, have a look at the Money Mystery offer. Tomorrow we will be launching Money Magnet in its entirety, so you'll see the marketing for that as well. Come into my community in the Sisterhood and you'll see I'm going to be doing a go live on that in the next couple of days. But do something. Do something. Don't just hear this and go away. This is like going to the gym or having a shower. It wears off. You don't just go once. You don't just go once and go, I'm done. You need to do more regularly. That's like the bicep curls. It's not the 9th or the 10th that builds the muscle. It's the 11th and the 12th and the 13th. We have to start conditioning the brain and body to get you moving. 2023 is here. I don't know quite how, because to me it still feels like March, but apparently it's 2023 in 38 days time. So get ready, get yourself primed, deal with manifestation, your ownership of story, your new story, the energetics, and you. We've got to blend that all together into a glorious whole. Lovely working with you guys today. I'm willing to take any, yes, Token Man, definitely. Yes, we are non-gendered. It's just about the spirit of sisterhood. And because I identify as female, it's sisterhood, not brotherhood. Same thing as if it was the Brotherhood of Entrepreneurs, but I'm a girl. So there are many, many blokes in there that I coach several high-end male entrepreneurs. I coach some senior political figures, and I coach some leaders of industry that identify as male. So it's non-gendered, but that's just my container at the moment. The name might be changing soon, actually, Stuart. It's funny you bring that up. I've had a couple of reactions like that. But yes, please do. Everyone is welcome. Come on in, Token Man. And I play a lot in there with some live sessions and some more free material like this. But come back to this as well next month. Love to have you all. Thank you for coming today. Been such fun. Any other questions? Have I got them all? Yes, they all start 6 p.m. UK, ACO. They are all recorded and you get lifetime access. So what that means is you can watch again and again. So I go really fast. I go really hard through the material. I support you as we're doing it, but that does mean sometimes you want to go back and watch it again, which is why it's held in a safe, closed Facebook group so that you get complete access to it, night or day. I have clients that dial in from Australia, from Hawaii, and they just watch it when their time zone allows. And then they comment, team replay in the chat, so I can see all their comments as well. And then we go back to any questions they've got in the right time zone. So yes, all time zones are supported. We have clients in Canada, clients in America, clients in Hong Kong, Australia, New Zealand, Peru. So it's pretty much global by now. So we are everywhere. So have done a lot of work with Dr. Joe, some great results. Is this course at beginner's level or any level? The answer, Shane, is we all get something depending on where we are. Yes, I've got some startup entrepreneurs. Yes, and I've got some people that are also at the sort of 10K months plus. So this is principles that will apply wherever you are. So if you come on board, what you'll find is there will be the bits that resonate with you. Other bits, yes, you might have heard before, but they integrate with the more advanced bits. So with all of my courses, it's about the self-work. So you'll be getting a playbook, which is the opposite of a workbook. It's actually fun. And we'll be doing things like that scoring that I mentioned on a daily basis, where we measure your energy levels. We measure what you're actually feeling, and we start to zoom in on where do you hold resistance in your body. So things like that are completely universal. They're not linked to where you are in business at all. It's not about strategy for business. Money Magnet is not a strategy for business course. I do a different one for that called Business Edition. That's coming later on in the year. But this is about your relationship with money. So it's all about your belief systems, your limiting beliefs, your energizing beliefs, and how to create the best wiring for you going forward. So I hope that makes sense, Shane. So thank you, okay. Thank you, Duncan. And oh, look, I've gone 1 minute over. Sorry, Duncan. I'll shut up now. Thank you, everybody, so much. I hope to see you on the inside. Get in quick today before we put the price up. I'll stop talking now.
Thanks so much, Libby. As ever, thank you to everybody for being here. As I just said in the chat, please join Dr. Libby's communities to find out more details of the December session. And hopefully we'll see you all there.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.